Ghana may face a power crisis soon if the government fails to pay a debt owed to the West African Gas Pipeline Company, WAPCO. Minister of Energy, Dr. Opoku Prempeh, explained that electricity production has been hampered because WAPCO has restricted gas transportation from the western region. It will be recalled that the gas supply was recently cut off due to debt owed to the West African Gas Pipeline Company, leaving several regions of the country in total darkness. The situation was reversed after Ghana and WAPCO reached an agreement on how the arrears will be paid.
Energy Minister Dr. Opoku Prempeh has now revealed that the situation of the recent power cuts is as a result of over-reliance on gas-only-powered thermal plants, unlike previously, that the generation was supported by liquid fuel. Dr. Opoku Prempeh therefore emphasized that the availability of power in the country will now be determined by the timeliness in the payment for gas supply by the West African Gas Company.
We don't have enough gas for our generation as we speak. We don't have enough gas. Because we are so much dependent upon somebody providing you the gas, and the gas wants you to pay, we are the beck and call of the West Africa Gas Pipeline. If you don't give them their money on time, they cut you, or they restrict your ability to even put your own gas through the system. So as we speak, this is a major challenge for us, that from the west we have gas there we cannot put in because West Africa Gas Power System Pipeline Company is not allowing us, it's restricting us. And that's why sometimes we find that there are challenges with power networks.
Dr. Opoku Prempeh, however, indicated that in the midst of all these challenges, the NPP government has been able to manage the situation.
It is now ensued Tokra. Somebody engaged me 2 weeks ago because the power was out for 45 minutes in the person's house. As soon as it was out, the person called, "Hey, Napodum Kania." But this was the person who lost out of her business because under some previous government, for 4 years, he couldn't get electricity to do that. He couldn't pay for fuel for generation. Sometimes you wish that we could leave that period for 1 month and come into this period, and so that people won't talk again. But I cannot wish that for Ghanaians. We want the lights to be on. When you want it, when you switch prayer, it comes. When you switch off, it goes. But we want people to be more considerate in using energy efficient devices so that we don't waste power. But when you look at the...
Meanwhile, speaking on the recent fuel hike that has caused several agitations across the country, Dr. Opoku Prempeh added that the introduction of the Gold for Oil initiative has contributed to stabilizing fuel prices, leading to a suspension of these agitations by Ghanaians.
In the history of this country, petrol is only at the Danko Akufo-Addo's government is when petroleum prices hit 22 cedis plus and has come down to as low as 13 cedis and below. It's never happened. Thanks to the good work MPA is doing, because whereas in the last 2 years, 3 years, even European countries short petrol and there were queues and prices went all over the place, we in Ghana didn't suffer that. And even when we started suffering it, we could introduce policy. And that is the purpose of a government, to introduce policy that benefits everybody, for everybody and not the few. So the work of MPA has a direct bearing on trotro price, haulage trucks, STC, aeroplane, and fisher folk. So we moved from 22.7 Ghana cedis per litre to low as almost half. 13 cities around this time. Sometimes people forget that when it got to that stage, people were even planning demonstrations to the Ministry of Energy. But now that it has halved, people are enjoying it forgetfully. That is the work of some people that has allowed us to do what we are doing.
Meanwhile, a member of the Energy and Mines Committee of Parliament, Edward Bauer, said there is a deep-seated challenge beyond the inadequate gas supply.
That is just a small amount of the components that is needed to be able to make sure that our lights are on. As we speak now, in terms of total indebtedness for power that we have consumed, we are inching around almost 15 billion Ghana cedis that we have not paid. WAPCO is just the one that just takes the gas and brings. Even with that, when we were asked to just do a minimum payment of 8.31, we could not do. That's the first point. The second part that we should even be more worried is the fact that from the beginning of the year up to today, as we speak, Our dependable capacity now is 3,407. Meanwhile, 3,407. Meanwhile, at peak, we are consuming in the neighborhood of 3,561. As at Wednesday, 8:55, we did not have enough power to give to Ghanaians. So when you see that there are sections of the country going off between 6 and 10, it's because as we speak now, from the beginning of the year up till now, that we have a power generation deficit, not only because of gas, but just simply that we do not have enough power. And so the minister must be candid and should not create the impression that seems to suggest that, oh, it is when there's rain and then somebody's power trips, then for about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, they start calling him. We have a problem. We had warned on this, but because they had moved on the tangent of excess capacity, they refused to put in contingency measures to ensure that we begin to start seeing how we can up our, our generation capacity. And as I speak, our growth rate in terms of power consumption is so high. We are doing around 12% annually, and we do not have a corresponding addition in terms of that. That is why for about 11 months now, we have had deficit in terms of generation. So when you see your lights off in your area, it is not a localized one. It is just that because of the lack of transparency of this government, they will not allow GRIDCO to publish a load shedding plan for Ghana. Because the moment they do that, then their rhetoric, like what the minister is saying, cannot hold. So they will bully GRIDCO not to do that. But currently we have a huge problem.